Hi, I'm Rebecca Clayfish from the 1848 Project. Unquestionably, COVID-19 has presented unprecedented challenges in the state of Wisconsin. One of the places affected most, K-12 education. Recently, I sat down with Ben Neihaus, who is the Florence Public School Superintendent and 1848 Project Advisory Board member, to get his take on how schools are coping.
COVID-19 has really posed some challenges for K-12 across the state. Can you tell me about them?
The various challenges, specifically number one with student safety, that's priority. Education first, safety always. And we looked at everything from that angle, and it's really like taking a game, imagining a game, football, whatever, and the goal is still the same. We still want to serve students, provide a great education, yet all the rules, the playbooks, everything not only have changed, but they change almost on a daily basis and sometimes multiple times. So it was really starting with looking at first, how are we going to return and best mitigate risk while providing a continued exemplary education as we're expected to do in public education. So overview was, starting with the safety piece. Could we return? How would we return? What would that look like? What can you do within the confines of what I call all of us reality? There was that piece of it. And for each district, that was different. And what you had from broadband to one-to-one technology to your geography and who you are. So yeah, there's just a plethora of dynamics.
It also depends on your geography and whether you are urban, rural, or suburban. Your challenges may all look different.
We're one of two countywide school districts. So geographically, we're the 10th biggest school district in the state geographically, although one of the smallest, serving 380 students. And so, you've got the dynamics of the rural, the suburban, the urbans. For us, we are the largest gathering day in and day out of people in Florence County, Wisconsin. For other school districts, that may not be the case. It could be a larger employer or whatever it may be. And so with that, for us, it's different in that way. In addition to when you're a small rural, that a lot of people wear a lot of hats. Every staff member doesn't just wear one hat in a rural district. So that has presented some challenges when you go back to the safety thing and mitigating and keeping circles small and cohorts. Not to say it's not any easier for suburban or urban. It has much larger populations of students. We're fortunate. I may have some of my elective classes where I only have 8 to 12 kids in there. I don't know that suburban or urban school district can say the same as that. So they may have a teacher that is teaching a specific content area to specific grade level for a duration, yet they may have many more children in that setting. So again, we could go on and on. It's very unique and dynamic, not only for rural, suburban, urban, but for each of those school districts within those different definitions of their school communities.
How do you balance the needs and the wishes of parents and, as they get older, kids, with the needs and the wishes of your staff and faculty and even the school board, who may feel differently, all of these different groups of people, knowing that you're designed to make sure all of these players work together?
You got all these different dynamics pushing the buttons, if you will. I really look at it as take let's go with the elementary playground, take a teeter-totter. You got a seat on each end. But instead of having a seat on each end of the tipping point, there's a half dozen or more that are pushing. And our goal is, all right, we have to balance all of this. But you got the students, for example, our students are thrilled to be back, yet there are changes that are limiting what was, and that's very difficult. That's difficult for me as a parent to hear also, but they're pushing, hey, can we do a little more? Can we do a little more? And then you got parents, which I maybe put on a couple different seats that are, yeah, do more, no, do less. Wait, what are you doing for this? And then, the school board's got to also be accountable to that public. You got the school community, you got your local health department. So it's like this multi-seated teeter-totter, and you just keep rocking around trying to stay balanced on it. So it's an incredible challenge, and I know I speak for every one of my colleagues. Not everybody's happy with a decision that is made from a board to administration, but we do our best to try to find the right balance, always knowing that we have to do our best to mitigate safety, but we have to do our best to move education forward.
Are you concerned about what this is doing to Generation Z? I mean, we read from the American Academy of Pediatrics and so many others about the depression and the anxiety, which I'm sure you will say is probably exacerbated by access to social media.
Unfortunately, I think the reality is there are going to be enduring impacts of this, and I think that is a piece that we have to look at in education going forward, is the support that our students are going to need for this moment in time that they are growing through socially, emotionally. What's lost and what are we going to have to overcome? We're doing everything we can to be proactive and upfront in that, in addition to balancing all the other pieces.
Using Ben's analogy of the multi-seat seesaw, balancing public health, the needs of parents and students, those of faculty and staff, the school board members, as well as the state and municipalities, we know that it will likely be a long time before we return to normal. That being said, the time is now for an extra ounce of patience, but also hope that this could be transformational for education.